Begin this practice by getting into a comfortable position.
Huh, what, no lotus position? You know the trope of the Black Lotus in lots of fiction? Black lotuses don't actually exist. I mean, there's no such plant. The magic card does exist in reality. Shame how that game really lost the plot, eh? I'm a recovering magic Vorthos. I never got good at the game. I always got distracted by the art or the titles, the coolness of the world, the flavor. Fortunately, Hasbro's insistence on cashing out goodwill has freed me from that addiction. You summon a demon whose very name is alienating, with a post-nominal epithet that inspires awe and terror. Your opponent drops a freaking transformer. The plot, formerly thick novels, are now bite-sized articles. That sounds like a boon for our, or at least my, ever-shortening attention spans, but it's the opposite. Nothing ever happens anymore. It's better business to leave loose ends. Where's Tezzeret right now? Laying low, gathering power until they want to bring him back out. Nissa got Phyrexionized. We had a traumatic revelation that really isn't that traumatic. She got unphyrexionized, which is possible now, we decided, in the same set. Ajani seemed to not know he was a sleeper agent. He got unphyrexionized. Wait, so was he there under it all or not? Nissa and Tamio's completed selves remembered their former selves, but also the moment Ajani awoke as a sleeper agent, he seemed to not realize. Was completed Ajani a different person from Ajani? Where exactly is that line? A fascinating question that will, no doubt, never be answered. Magic the Gathering grew too big. When it was the dorky dreams of fantasy nerds, they wrote stories driven by their imagination. Now, stories are attempts to please a massive audience with conflicting opinions. Why can Phyrexionization be reversed? So that Nissa and Chandra can be a couple. Why did Elish Norn suddenly switch from her careful, insidious tactics with sleeper agents and individual conversion to a standard military invasion of the entire multiverse at once? So that just like every other IP setting, we can make it like Marvel. Realmbreaker now allows non-planeswalkers to move between planes so we can endlessly recombine characters and settings.
Fucking Chucky!
I clapped when I saw it!
Where's Emrakul right now? Imprisoned in the moon, until she's been gone long enough to be missed. I predict Hasbro will drain the spirit out of every plane and character in their IP for a while before realizing that the blind eternities are, by definition, unknowable. We'll have planeswalkers take a quick trip through, half-answer some old questions while creating more. We'll move Emrakul to a new prison, and then even the incomprehensible beyond will be devoid of intrigue. Oh wait, I have a shittier idea. Remember how Star Wars had nowhere to go, so they made the Death Star but bigger? It'll turn out we have an even bigger Eldrazi Titan, who turns out to be Emrakul's boss. And the visual design will just be a fucking mannequin.
Deep within your heart, there is a stillness that at once feels both cool and refreshing. You are allowed to relax. You may even say to yourself, I invite you to experience inner peace and calm.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Lotus. Speaking of the Lotus, I played Warframe starting around update 11.5. It was still an open beta then, as now. Unfortunately for Warframe, it will always be the game that Digital Extremes develops. The game is way different now, and I guess it should be after 10 years. They've set up a lot of questions and answered some of them. Right about when I started playing, we got a quest system and a quest to get a Warframe.
I'm telling her to go, but she's laughing. tearing their heads off as they swarm. I tell her I won't lose her, that I have another ship on its way. She is smiling because she knows I am lying. I hear her comforting me, telling me not to despair as the warframe disintegrates and I lose her forever.
Lotus apparently used to speak to various warframes. I remember thinking, Lotus was hot. After all, what did we know about her? What do we see? Weird plastic metal costuming, pretty voice, pretty face? End of list. I always found it weird that the rest of the fandom called her Space Mom. As I'm fond of saying, if you see her and think parental, how's your mom? What's she up to? Eventually, Digital Extremes enshrined the whole Space Mom vibe in canon. We learn Lotus's real name is apparently Nata.
Pupil, what is your Lotus hiding? Who is Nata?
My name. My old name.
We learned about Nata's mission. We learned she abandoned her mission.
I had my mission, and I have completed it. All but the last sequence.
To destroy the Tenno.
I could not destroy them.
We learned Nata has been doing the protective mother thing super hard.
Nata wanted children of her own.
Nata was the daughter, until I destroyed her. Now, I am the Lotus. Now I am the mother.
This moment would have hit super hard, but I had it spoiled for me.
Now, allow your breath to return to whatever pace feels good to you.
F's in the comments, please. So surprise, we are not the Warframe. We are this little bastard. This later scene is highly important. It's badass, but also raises so many questions. Left to right, your operator, your Warframe, the Stalker. Don't worry about who the Stalker is.
No self, no sense, no death. Just a metal puppet dangling on Tenno strings.
I almost wish I never heard that line. That references transference. In this quest, we're learning that we use transference to possess a Warframe. A side note, apparently Cephalon Samaris already knew that.
Then the question is, if it is not Tenno control, what entity dominates it?
All your dreadlong life, you've waited for this moment. But you're asking yourself, was I one of these wretched things?
I don't know what was means here, but apparently there's a Tenno somewhere controlling Stalker. This is what I mean. You remember less than a minute ago, no sense, no self, no death, but it looks like this Excalibur is acting independently? Earlier in this quest, we saw the operator has to be touching the Warframe to control it.
What is this?
Hunhow doesn't know what's going on either. So Lotus shows up in person and puts us in the somatic link, or if you prefer, the ultimate gamer chair, and they play this game's favorite choral refrain. Which I have heard way too goddamn many times, and we get to customize our character.
Hi, my name is Ebony Darkness Dementia Ravenway.
Memories from your time aboard the Zeramin 10-0. Before the void jump accident.
So this moment brings up two things. The void jump accident she's talking about is how the Tenno were created. Lots of fiction uses this idea. How do we get faster than light travel? Oh, we take a shortcut through hell. There was a ship that got stuck in the void. It happens. But this one came back out, which was a first, and the children aboard that ship were changed. So this quest seems to answer the question of what a warframe is, and raise the questions of what transference is, what's the deal with the glaive, and what's Space Mom up to. Check out the glaive. Its codex description starts with dating back to the time of the first Tenno. That simple sentence needs to be taken out of the game, because in the years before Lotus first said Zeraman 10-0, there was a far different fan theory about who the Tenno are. Before Warframe, Digital Extremes made a game called Dark Sector, which followed Hayden Tenno. The major gameplay gimmick was balancing guns with his thrown glaive. Also, if you go back and see the Dark Sector trailer for E3 2005, it looks way more like early Warframe than it looks like Dark Sector. Also, if you look at Excalibur's helmet really closely, it calls him Hayden Tenno. So it used to be fanon that Warframe is a sequel to Dark Sector. But if Lotus is telling us that we Tenno are the kids on a ship, then that tanks that theory. And there are no second Tenno. The codex data still mentions this though. Less than a year after that quest, DE released the Silver Grove.
I am Sylvana. Welcome to my forest.
We learned about Sylvana working on transference therapy.
Transference therapy is being turned into a weapon. Now I build these vile weapons called warframes.
That's being used to get the child soldiers in the war machines.
Stop running away and get in this goddamn robot!
Titania is the next warframe I've been commanded to build.
So she ran away to transference herself into a forest, which apparently is a thing that can be done.
When the Orokin found out what I had done here, they sent their dax upon the great trees. I was dying. And then suddenly, I felt a familiar presence. One by one, the mighty dax began to fall, swatting hopelessly at some unseen menace. When the fire subsided, I knew what it was. Titania, my ashamed creation. I felt her beating wings through my branches. I felt her mortal wounds, her weeping burns as she fell beneath my canopy. And so it was here, within the grove, that she died to save me.
So I guess she isn't a metal puppet dangling on Tenno strings? Are warframes metal puppets or living warriors?
You fight with the same determination she did.
Why am I harping on this so much? Because another quest extremely important to the storyline came out 2 years later. The Sacrifice. Remember I said we answered what is a warframe? Never mind that.
How all you want. It won't bring him back. Brings you strength, but you cannot defy your creator. Even I make mistakes, like you.
It's hard to realize how bad this quest is because it's so beautiful.
This blade may predate everything in your arsenal. Remnants appear to be of warframe composition. I am not familiar with this design. Almost crude. If you can get another scan, I may be able to synthesize a partial schematic of the victim. Process. I've reconstructed what I could. Uncertain if any Tenno has linked with this design. The transference bolt seems different.
This warframe knew Ballas. It tried to attack him.
What? The warframes are transference controlled. Battle envoys for the operator to command. I don't understand.
This one is different.
Quick quest, we build it and equip it. This is probably the second coolest moment in this whole game.
Transference bolt.
Ortis! What happened?
The warframe I warned you not to build, that you built anyway, caused a massive transference overload and damaged my precepts. It has escaped out into the system.
When I linked to it, there was something there. A memory.
Warframes are transference proxies for the Star Child. They do not have memories.
Well, this one does.
So, pretty cut and dry, right? Warframes are puppets, normally, and Umbra is abnormal.
It is with the greatest of risk that I commit this recording. The codices within reveal the hidden weakness of your most feared enemy. My creations, my frames of war. We were forced to older means, not circuits, nor light, but flesh and disease. Transformed, but only just. The Helminth was created, born to yield these new warriors. We took our greatest, volunteers or not, and polluted them with these cultured reagents. They transformed. They became infested. But only just. Their skin blossomed into sword steel. Their organs interlinked with untold resilience. Yet their minds were free of the infested madness. Or so we thought. We set them upon the battlefield, biodrones under our command. The warframes, all of them failures. Surprised? They turned on us, just as you did.
Our Foundry cloned Umbra, memories and all. It's never made clear how he's space traveling. We track him and see some more of his memories.
Yet you couldn't understand why I give my secrets to our enemy. You would have to imagine a lovingly cultured infestation swarms within your blood. Your transformation has begun, reshaping you into a sacred surrogate of the unholy Tenno.
Ballas gave secret intel about the Tenno to the Sentients.
They were the missing half. Transference linked. The warframes the body, and they the mind.
This poison he's given you, it has taken your will away.
We had created monsters we couldn't control. We drugged them, tortured them, eviscerated them. We brutalized their minds, but it did not work. Until they came. They had learned a way to see inside an ugly, broken thing. And to take away its pain.
So there you have it. Transference is where a Tenno links minds with a warframe. But now, it's less clear than it's ever been. What is a warframe? Sometimes they're warriors who can rebel and die.
They turned on us.
Sometimes they're metal puppets.
No self, no sense.
Sometimes they're under some kind of magic-like enslavement.
Stop. You think you can defy me?
All of the lines you've heard Ballas say have been from one quest, by the way. No one cares about that, though. Space Mom. A few years previous, there was a plot cinematic called the Apostasy Prologue. She vanished, leaving us her helmet. At the end of this quest, Space Mom's back.
I am here, Tenno.
What have they done to you?
Nothing. This is what I am.
She seems to have memories again.
Our history is smoke, blurred by dreams, guided by ghosts. I am the witness, the victim, the judge. My family has returned. Your trial, soon to begin.
She sort of hates us because she's been repeatedly brainwashed. Don't worry, her story does get pretty much finished, with a dramatic scene finally ending with the operator telling her it's her choice who she wants to be. Then the game popping up a window for you to choose.
As you can see, Betrayer, I've made a deal with an even higher power.
Fucking Alad V. Editor, we're gonna need the no longer accessible events that are essential to Alad V's story counter. The first time you fight him, you go to Themisto because he's building robots with Warframe components.
Oh, if it's your friends you're looking for, you're welcome to place a bid for my newest Zanuka prototype.
In a temporary event, Alad's lore was advanced. The Zanuka project was considered a failure. He got kicked off the board of directors, continues his research in secret, then gets kicked out of the corpus entirely. He goes researching the infested. In another temporary event, he comes back infested.
One army under me. Welcome to your new species.
That's why there's an assassination mission node for regular Alad V, and also you can assassinate Mutalist Alad V. Same guy.
Do you see this color? This color will let you see like I see. It will let you want what I want.
Then, in another temporary event, you steal research from Tile Rhaegor, and Alad V gets cured. That's where he's at when you're playing the second dream.
Keep your eyes peeled if you have eyes. Come to the reservoir. As unpleasant as our past is, I have to ask. I've seen inside a temple, and what I found didn't make sense.
He's dissected a few Warframes in the past.
All the credits in the system aren't worth half as much as a Tenno owes Dave.
He's doing this to get a favor from the Tenno, which he cashes out in another temporary event, but you'll never know that nowadays. In another temporary event, Alad V enters into a partnership.
That was not Regis. It never was Regis. It revealed its true face to me, and by the void, I've entered into a partnership with sentience.
Now he makes amalgams, but when DE introduced that tile set, they never fixed the fact that he references his partners when you're in the Themisto assassination.
In the event of contact with our partners, remember your vows. Permit, preserve, proclaim. Permit, gratitude.
Oh, have you come to make a donation to my newest enterprise?
So to have the slightest clue what's going on with Alad V, the players are expected to remember the last 10 years, better than DE does.
Adjust your spine so that it feels tall and straight.
Is Limbo still the tallest Warframe? Man, DE has been forgetting their own lore since the early days. Every good science fiction needs some kind of unobtainium. How do you meet the incredible energy needs to power your technology indistinguishable from magic? How do you travel faster than light? In Warframe, it's the void.
Could it be that there's a plane between our normal plane and the void? A space between space? A rift? This Limbo was quite mischievous, zipping in and out of the rift. Oh, wait, Limbo, no. That's a mistake. You don't want to go there. It's too big a jump. You can't rift walk. Oh no.
Limbo can access the rift, which I can't not see as, DE, you guys forgot you already made the void, didn't you? Good thing they dropped Limbo Prime before the Prime Access trailers had Ballas's voiceover.
Why do these Warframes stir us so? Less than their human seed, gnawing their limbs from the snare, devouring a banquet of suffering, obese with heat and acid and rage.
Rage? File another one under Warframes Think. Speaking of primes, the trailer for Revenant Prime is pretty cool. But there's a problem.
This is where Gara vanquished the sentient, where its essence fell into the ground. At moonrise, its ghostly tendrils would emerge, seeking form, seeking return. And this was the Warden, a Warframe. Until the Warden himself was lost. The Lost One's spirit calls for aid.
Revenant was not Revenant in the time of the Orokin. He was the Warden. His current voidy sentient deal is the altered state of one particular Warden. So how is there a Prime? Really, what is a Prime anyway? Well, fortunately, we got a legitimate Orokin-era Dax to sell us Primes. Varzia. After being awoken from millennia of horny jail.
Teshin, I don't know if I want to slam him against the wall, or have him slam me against one.
Cryo sleep. She's here to make everything way, way less clear.
Some Warframes were primed from the start. Others earned it. Bella's never told the whole truth.
What?
I see there's been a whole lot of valiant attempts to make frames up to the Prime standard since my time. Bless them. They did the best they could with what they had.
So people other than Ballas have been making Warframes, more of them. And when Varzia describes it, it's much more like manufacturing. The Prime Access trailers and all the plot around every frame make it sound like one warrior was turned into a Warframe. They're going to make a Zaku Prime, I am sure of it. And Zaku specifically is a broken Warframe made of 3 others.
Primes were reserved for the Prime Vanguard. The best of the best.
So I guess a Prime Warframe is, both to us and the characters, just a better version of a Warframe. So we've answered what is a Prime Warframe, but only by making it less clear what a Warframe in general is. It's gone on for so long with so many creative people putting so much work in that it's lost track of a lot of parts of itself over time. Maybe I'm just still disappointed about Frame Fighter.
That was the fabled latency kick. Holy shit.